So since the price of Bitcoin right now is flashing a very interesting scenario, what to expect next in the coming days, what to expect next in the upcoming year. Yes, we are going to talk about all of these scenarios in today's video. So please, before we jump into the content, try that like button if you haven't done it yet. And for those individuals watching it the first time, hit the subscribe button and the bell. So starting this in a daily time frame, I am going to keep it very simple. Since the price of Bitcoin here is still trapped inside this ascending channel, or also known as bear flag, we have to be extremely careful, because in the past price action, losing the support from this ascending channel, or whenever this bear flag type of scenarios unfolded in price action of Bitcoin, after that we have seen a retracement once we broke the support from this ascending channel. Each and every time the support got broken, the price of Bitcoin did show this corrective movement and also made a new low. So that's why in our case right now, the price of Bitcoin is also forming this bearish flag pattern and also approaching the exact support line which we are not allowed to break. If we do break that support, then we could be starting another corrective movement here to the downside, because if this trend is going to continue to the downside, then between 10 to 12,000 is where we could be possibly heading for the coming days, coming month, or coming year, because we know not just only this ascending channel or not just only this bear flag formation, even this rising wedge is a clear bearish scenario, and we have also lost the support. You can see this is a clear continuation here to the downside, and also according to this rising wedge in a daily time frame, the price of Bitcoin could slowly be getting gravitated here to the downside, the medium short-term target between 14,900 to 15,000 range, before showing another range bound type of scenario. We know in a daily time frame, in a bigger time frame, the market doesn't show us that it is ready for this new market phase, because we know, guys, even here in a 4-hour time frame, even looking at this using bearish ascending triangle, yes guys, this bearish ascending triangle, since the support has also been broken, we have to be very careful, because you can see losing the support from this ascending triangle means the price after that is going to continue this downtrend. And in our case, if this continuation is going to happen, you can see the price of Bitcoin in that case could be getting gravitated around this 15,000 to 14,900 range before choosing another trend direction. So that's why in the medium short term, the target around 14,900 to 15,000 is going to be looked as our potential upcoming target, as long as we remain below 17,000 resistance line. Yes guys, I'm not saying the price has to see this corrective movement like this, right? We could see more of a range bound like this. We could see more of a range bound price even showing this relief rally, or so-called a fake out this year, being a fake out approaching around the 17,200 17,300 range before again continuing this downtrend. The reason why we are saying this is because we know the price, if it is going to show some sort of a fake out, then in the upcoming month, or for the month of January, that is going to be the area where the CPI line is going to be lying around. Yes guys, the central pivot range is going to be somewhere between 16,900 to 17,300 range. Between that area, if the daily closes around 16,500 16,600 today. What I mean by that, if you look at this here in a daily time frame, and also look at this very interesting indicator, a leading indicator known as central pivot range, which provides us with information beforehand, and it's also known as traditional pivot lines. So according to this traditional pivot, according to this CPI indicator, right now it is a very interesting scenario for us, because you know tomorrow we are going to get a new CPI for January 2023, and this indicator is also going to flash us what are the possible scenario for the coming month. Yes, you heard that correctly. For this January 2023, the price, if it is going to close the daily candle today around 16,500 16,600, that means the central CPI line tomorrow is going to be lining somewhere between 17,100 17,200 range. Yes guys, this center line is going to be the central CPI line, and that will also indicate the price has closed the candle below the CPI line, and this CPI line for the coming month could be attracting the price before continuing this trend like this. Why am I actually showing you this price movement? Because we know this here is going to be a VCPR. VCPR attracts the price before it chooses a trend duration. And what I don't want you guys to forget, tomorrow we are going to get a new CPR for January 2023. But this here is also going to be a very, very narrow CPR indicating volatility. Yes, guys, the January month is going to be a volatile month, and the previous CPR is also going to be higher than the January 2023 CPR. Yes, guys, this is also going to indicate the trend is still very, very weak. Yes, the descending CPR usually indicates the trend here is going to continue this rally to the downside, because the descending CPR only gets formed during a downtrend. In an uptrend, you can see in an uptrend, price usually forms this ascending CPR ladder type formation, right? Ascending CPR. But in a downtrend, this turns into a descending CPR. So if this trend today is going to close somewhere between 16,500 16,600 range, even around 17,000, the CPR line is still going to be a descending CPR for January 2023, which is also going to reflect the weakness. But even though this is going to be a descending CPR, candle is going to close below the CPR line, the monthly CPR line. So that's why for the upcoming days or the further medium short term, we could get attracted towards the CPR line, test the resistance from the CPR line between 16,900 to 17,300 range, and again continue this rally here to the downside. If you are wondering how to calculate this pivot line or the CPR line, here's the formula, guys. The CPR line, the next one CPR is definitely going to be a descending CPR and also a narrow CPR indicating volatility. So if we do, right, if we do see some sort of a range bound or even a fake out type of scenario playing out here, even though these are some very bearish scenario unfolding right now for Bitcoin, in that case, guys, we have to look at this one scenario which is also unfolding in a hourly time frame for Bitcoin. So before we talk about this right angle broadening wedge, please guys, try that like button if you haven't done it yet, and for those individuals watching this for the first time, hit the subscribe button and the bell. But if you want to support me even further, a comment would be much appreciated, because you know a like and a comment is going to boost the algorithm of the channel and also boost the motivation for me to create content like this in a daily basis and also enter 2023 with full power. Now if we look at this right angle broadening wedge, we can see very clearly the price here is still getting resistance around this upper line area. The upper line has acted as a resistance. The lower line in this case is holding the price, right? You can see that very clearly. The lower line is acting as a support, upper line is acting as a resistance. So if we do see a VCPR forming, price getting attracted around this 17,000 range, then in the medium short term we could be also forming this so-called right angle broadening wedge. Yes guys, and once we flip the resistance around 16,600 16,700 into proper support for the medium short term, right, for the medium short term around this area, then there could be a so-called relief rally type of formation, a relief rally which could bring the price of Bitcoin, around the CPR line here, this CPR line, and again continue this downtrend like this, turning into a fake out. And if you look at this example here on the right hand side, you can see a very similar scenario, price turning bullish, right, heading towards the target line, and then again continuing this downtrend, because we know in a bigger picture the market still looks very weak. Not just only here in a daily time frame, in a smaller time frame, even if we look at this here in a bigger time frame, I have been very clear with you guys. For an actual markup phase, we have said the price must end this capitulation phase. Yes, before we start with a new markup phase, first we need to end this capitulation phase. And how does this capitulation phase end? When we break the long-term resistance line and when we find support above 200 moving average. Yes guys, during this downtrend from 2014-15, you can see when we finally managed to find support above this long-term resistance line and also support above this 200 moving average. After that, we ended this capitulation phase and also started this new markup phase. Also here in 2018-19, a similar scenario unfolded. Price was getting resistance from this long-term resistance line, but once we managed to flip that into support, price found support above 200 moving average, we start with this new markup phase. So in our case, the falling trendline resistance is still there. Price is also below the 200 moving average. So what we are expecting for this 2023, we are expecting price to head towards the target area, or so-called the next area of confluence, around 14,500, 14,600, and even around 10 to 12,000 range, because that is the area where we can see a lot of confluence for Bitcoin, because that exact area was also acting as a strong line of resistance in the past price action. So we could be slowly getting gravitated between this line before finally bottoming out and also price breaking out of this long-term resistance line. Yes guys, price breaking out of this long-term resistance line and also finding support above 200 moving average. So when I'm going to expect that to happen, I think it's going to be end of 2023 or Q4 2023 or even Q1 2024 before starting this actual markup phase. So these are some of the quick updates that I see right there looking at the price action of Bitcoin. But also before I conclude this video, I just want to quickly show you guys what in case all the bearish scenario is going to fade away and price going to turn bullish. Yes, in that case guys, we are actually going to follow this rising trend line, which has acted as one strong line of support since 2018. Yes, this support line, this rising trend line support has acted as a strong line of support since 2018, and since we are also around that area, RSI line is also supporting this price movement. So if we get lucky, right, and price does start a new markup phase from here on, which I don't think it's going to happen, but if it does, then this is the scenario what we are going to talk about. But for now, let's focus on smaller time frame and let's focus on the scenario here, which is also indicating we are not supposed to lose the support here between 16,000 to 16,500, because losing that means a clear sign of weakness and also potentially continuing this downtrend. So these are some of the quick updates that I wanted to share with you in today's video. If you enjoyed my work, then please guys, please try that like button, and for those individuals watching this for the first time, hit the subscribe button and the bell. So by saying this, I'm signing out. My name is Anup. Bye bye and happy new year.